For many people out there, myself included, it's very easy to get carried away thinking about what car you can buy. But oftentimes realising when you do this, you find out how expensive the car you actually want really is. But with finance options getting more and more creative by the minute, it offers people that somewhat reasonable price of getting into their dream car. This allows them to have less upfront cost by not paying the entire sum in one go and splitting out over monthly payments, and offering people longer and longer terms for their loans with that aim of reducing those monthly payments even more. Looking at those monthly payments can be tempting, but I'm hoping to use this video to give you an insight into what you can actually afford at your current salary. The average price in the UK for a new car has tipped over £40,000, which is just absurd. Even the price of a new Corsa is starting around £35,000, albeit an electric one. So with new car prices ever increasing and used car prices now starting to drop from their 2022 high, it makes sense to start focusing your efforts to buying used cars now rather than new cars. You have many options when it comes to buying your next car. You can either pay for that car in cash, finance it through a hire purchase loan, finance it through PCP loans, or even start to look at leasing that car if you do buy brand new. And in the UK, hire purchase, or HP as you might see it on Auto Trader or other online platforms, means that you buy that car through a loan and you pay money back on that principal loan through interest. But at the end of that loan agreement, whether it's 12, 24, 36, 48 or even 60 months, you will own that car at the end of it. But for borrowing that money up front and using that to pay for your car, you will pay an interest payment and you will pay a monthly payment back to whoever you got that loan from, albeit it could be a bank or any kind of broker. Some of the pros to this is that, as I say, once you have paid off that loan amount, you own the car, but some of the negatives around it mean that your monthly payments might be a little bit higher because you are paying the entire amount of your car off, rather than on like a PCP model. PCP is a little bit like renting out the car. At the end of the term, you can either give the car back or you can buy the car outright through paying off the balloon payment, which is the amount left on that loan, usually sat around 50% of the car's value. Some of the pros to PCP mean that you have a slightly less monthly payment than you would on a hire purchase loan. But some of the negatives, as I say, are that you do not own the car at the end of the agreement. You still have a sizable chunk left to pay. And through this process, if you do end up buying that car and paying off that balloon payment, you'll have probably paid more interest than you would have done just using a hire purchase to buy that car in the first place. If you do or are looking to buy a brand new car, you then have the option of leasing it. Leasing a car may mean you get even cheaper deals when it comes to your monthly payments, but on a lease purchase, you do not actually own that car at all. You essentially are renting that car on a monthly payment, and at the end of that lease agreement, you will give that car back. So your payment could be a couple of £100 per month for a fairly new car, but you only own it for 12 to 24 months, and at the end of it, that's it. The car's gone back, and you've had no equity gained at all. You're just renting that car out. Now that we've got a few of the purchase options in the UK out of the way, let's start to look at the affordability of what you can actually get for your salary. A common rule for purchasing a car on a monthly payment is that you follow the 24-10 model. The 20 is for a 20% deposit on your next car. The 4 is for having the car for a maximum of 4 years in terms of your loan agreement, and the 10 is that the total cost of ownership does not equal more than 10% of your monthly gross income. So what does this all look like in real terms? I'm going to break this down from some salary brackets aiming from 30k all the way up to 90k to show you exactly what you'll be able to afford on a monthly payment. Starting off with a 30k a year salary means that your total all-in cost for your car should not equal more than £250. Now that accounts for your loan, your fuel, maintenance, all running costs should not equal more than £250. So let's have a quick look at an example car of what you'll be able to get for that money. On Auto Trader, you can easily find cars anywhere from £100 to £150 a month, and then depending on your age, location, occupation, you might even be able to find insurance that sits around £50 per month, and then the tax for these cars anywhere around £10 to £15 a month as well, such as this Renault Megane. So you'd put around about a 2k deposit down for this, costing £128 per month for the car in terms of your loan. Tax of around about £190 per year, so £15 a month. Insurance all in, let's say roughly £500 a year, so £42 a month. That's going to leave you with around £70 per month for fuel and maintenance, which, depending on your mileage and how often you use the car, might be about enough, but you really do need to kind of factor all that costs in when looking at the next car. So as I say, a Renault Megane might be affordable at your 30k a year salary. So as I say, that's a rough example of a car. You might want to look at something a little bit cheaper depending on that £250 a month that you do have, and potentially look at getting something for around about £100 a month for the principal loan. But as I say, use this as a rough guide. Moving on to a 50k a year salary, your all-in cost would be around £416 per month. So for this Seat, with around about a £3,000 deposit, which is 20%, you'd be spending around £200 per month on the car itself, with once again around another £500 a year for insurance, roughly about £42 per month, and then again for your tax around £190 per year, £15 per month, which leaves you around about £150 a month for fuel and maintenance, which I suppose if you've got a slightly bigger car, you might be using a little bit more for family and things like that. And then maintenance, once again, for a slightly newer car, might be a little bit cheaper, but your servicing and your running costs, I would say £150 per month might be about enough, but as I say, we're using this as a rough guide here. At a salary of £70,000 per year, your all-in cost should be around £583 for your car, keeping within that 10% budget. You may, at this salary, be able to stretch for a £400 per month car, but ideally you'd probably want to be sat around the £300 to £350 per month for the car itself, such as this Audi Q3 at £350 per month. So your total insurance and tax costing another £60 a month, let's say, which leaves you with around £170 per month for fuel and maintenance. And as you do buy newer and more expensive cars, the total cost of ownership usually is that little bit more. Services are a little bit more, car parts are more, so it's best to leave yourself with wiggle room as you do start to increase your budget of what you can actually afford for just the loan. And then finally, at £90,000 per year, you're left with £750 per month, keeping within your 10% budget, which seems like quite a lot, but let's see what you could probably afford at that bracket. I would say aiming for around £500 per month for the car loan itself, leaving £50 a month for insurance, another £20 for road tax, and then you should be left again with around £180 per month for fuel and maintenance, which should be enough, as I say, depending on your usage. But considering a service on this X3 here that we've got is around £300 from BMW, you might be getting quite close for going over your 10% budget. So if you do have issues with the car, make sure you are factoring in running costs, as in not every single car that you're going to be buying is going to be perfect and faultless. So I hope this is kind of giving you a rough idea as to what you can afford based on your salary. As mentioned, this is just a guide, but I do feel going over that 10% monthly budget would really start to kind of affect you in terms of your overall financial health, as I've mentioned on a previous video, which you can watch here. But let me know down in the comments how much you are spending on your car every single month, or whether you bought your car outright in cash. And as always, drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see you for a new video next week.